Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 129 of Screw the Commute podcast. We got Cindy Bishop with us here today. She's the one who makes sure your real estate agent knows what they're doing. I'm going to bring her on in a moment. Now, your last episode is 128, Jeffrey Palmer. He created a simple and predictable system that generated the highest ever income in the history of a company in the beginning of the worst economic recession of our lifetime. So he has great tips on sales and marketing for you. Now, I've got a big freebie to thank you for listening to this podcast. It's my $27 ebook, How to Automate Your Business. And just one of the tips in this ebook has saved me over 7 million keystrokes. And I just might have another little special gift for you over there at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. And everything we talk about will be in the show notes in case you don't want to try to write these things down. Okay, our podcast app is in the iTunes store. You can also go to screwthecommute.com/app, APP, where we have complete instructions to show you how to use all the fancy features so you can take us with you on the road and you can put it on your cell phone and tablet. All right, so here we go. The sponsor today is the Distance Learning School, the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia. Now, did you ever wonder how tens of thousands of people like me sit home, earn legitimate money, and don't have to listen to a boss or get up and fight traffic every day? Well, it's because we have legitimate online businesses. And the reason I emphasize the word legitimate is because there are tons of scams out there in the online world. That's why I started the only licensed and dedicated Internet Marketing Distance Learning School in the country, imtcva.org. And you can have, and here I go again, legitimate lifestyle business in as little as 6 months. So check it out, and we'll have the link in the show notes. And one other thing, we're approved by the Department of Defense for their scholarship program for military spouses. So if you know any military spouses who want to work out of their home from wherever they're deployed, please send them my way. All right, let's get to the main event. Cindy Bishop is the managing director and founder of Cindy Bishop Worldwide, a real estate education and business development company. She provides continuing education to licensed agents as well as relevant business development training. Cindy, are you ready to screw?
I am.
The commute, that is. How you been?
I am just fine. How about you?
I'm peachy. So tell everybody what you do now, and then we'll take you back and see how you got to where you're at now.
Well, you did a very good job of explaining what I do. I am the managing director and founder of my own company, which is Cindy Bishop Worldwide. And what we do is we provide relevant, quality training to real estate agents to basically keep them out of trouble and to protect the consumer. So that is what we do.
And this is continuing education, right?
Continuing ed, but we do a lot of business development. So we do have a coaching program that is both private, and then we also have a group coaching program that's a more affordable platform.
Mm-hmm. And so now, is this something where people would come to you if they didn't have a license yet, or they've already gotten their license?
They've already gotten their license. So I take care of an agent once they've actually have a legal state license to practice.
Okay, great. And so what kind of issues do you get into that real estate agents run into?
Well, they're really not well trained. There really isn't any kind of formal business development program.
And just getting your license is not any what kind of deep training, right?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, no.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'm a little cynical, but I feel that the states across the country do not do a good job. They're collecting licensing fees and basically background check fees. And after the agent gets a license, they have to get a certain amount of hours in continuing ed, usually more so in their first year than any other time. But the quality of the education is really not monitored well enough. Yes, you have to get it state approved, but it is there's too many people that do not provide quality education. They're only interested in maybe getting more business from themselves. Maybe it's a title company or some other organization that just is trying to get in front of agents to get their business. I think independent schools need to do this simply because I think that's their focus, which is educating agents, keeping them out of trouble, making sure they're professional, and make sure that they're really taking care of who we're supposed to be taking care of, which is the consumer.
Right. And so this is the state by state thing, right?
It is. Everybody's a little different, but it's really not state to state. It's really not terribly different, but it is actually.
Okay. But so you can legitimately take customers in your school from the state of Virginia or from anywhere?
For me, I have a state licensed school in Virginia. I can do business building anywhere in the country, but the continuing ed, the actual licensed real estate school, I am just focused on Virginia.
Right. But anybody around the country that wants to learn better on how to develop their business, they could still come to you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So did you ever have a job?
Oh, by golly, I did.
Take us back.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So take us back. Okay. Well, I actually had a job, a traditional job up until the time I was 27. And that was, and basically, it was the typical grind. You answered to somebody. And then at that point,
what kind of job was it?
Well, I worked as what they called a logistician. I worked for a contractor for the government, and I did that for a number of years. Before that, I was a retail manager, and before that, college. So basically, that's what I did. I think I started working when I was probably babysitting at 12.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you didn't get the silver spoon treatment, right?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I had to earn my way. Bought my first car. Nobody helped me.
Oh, all right.
Nope.
All right. So you said till you were 20, till you were 27, right? Then what happened then?
I had my first child.
You had your first child. That's a
cried.
job in itself, right?
You're not just kidding, but I had to work. So I basically cried all the way to DC every day for the first month. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm going to find something else to do where even though I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, I'm close by. I can go to school activities. I know if the daycare is doing a good job or they're trying to kill my kid. So I decided to get my real estate license.
All right. So you're wait a minute. So you're pregnant, driving to a job, crying all day.
Well, no, this is after I was pregnant, driving to a job. But when I gave birth and when I went back, because, you have that little bit of time that you can be at home and then you have to go back. You got to put your child in daycare, not knowing what's going on all day. They could be beating her over the head for all I knew.
Right.
So I finally said, that's enough. And so after I was no longer pregnant and I had her in daycare, I quit my job, knowing that I had to make an income. Yes, I had a husband, but we didn't make enough. He didn't make enough money to just live without my income.
Right.
So I basically took a big chance. I jumped in both feet, and I knew I had to make money right away, and I did.
Okay, and so you what's the process to get your real estate license?
Well, you've got to sit. Usually, it used to be a lot easier. Now it's a 60-hour course. And then you sit for a state licensing exam. In those days, it was a little easier. That was the days before computers, back in 1987, when you still used number 2 pencils to fill in your little bubble to take a test, right?
Uh-huh.
Now they do it on the computer. But that's what we did. That's what I did. And then got my license and went to work with no other training. That's it. They give you a textbook theory, drop you in where everybody's talking about pizza parties and making cold calls from 7 to 9 at night.
Wow. But you did pretty good at it though, right?
I did. I had to, but you know what?
Right? You're
I was
a
gung-ho.
go-getter.
But I had to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
There was I did all the training that was available. I paid for training. I did training that was offered by the company. All of it was a bunch of foo-foo. It didn't make you a consistent income.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was really never designed for that. And they just didn't know any better. They just stick with this training that's just old and doesn't work. And most people don't want to make cold calls. So I basically had to figure it out, trial and error. And I did. And I ended up my very first year making enough money to justify it. And it wasn't soon after that I never made less than six figures a year.
Wow.
Because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I had to. I didn't have a choice to what were my other options, going back to that horrible nightmare. I wasn't going to do it. So I burnt my bridge. I didn't have one foot on the banana peel and one foot moving ahead. I went completely forward.
Do you remember your first sale?
I don't. I had a bunch of them together. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to figure out what to do because you really didn't have a lot of help. And I didn't like the lack of integrity in the business I was in either. And I just had to isolate myself. I had to learn and I had to isolate because who I really loved were my clients, the public.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I really wanted to be there for. The rest of it, real estate offices, dealing with all that political mess was just not my cup of tea. So I said, if I'm going to stay in this, I'm going to have to do it my way.
So do you still sell at all, or are you
No,
just
I
only
stopped.
in education?
I stopped when you know why I stopped? I stopped in 2010 when I opened my school. And the reason I did that was because one problem that agents have today is their brokers are typically competing with them. They're typically selling. Didn't used to be like that.
Mm.
But companies have gotten tighter and tighter on the purse strings. So now the agents have not even somebody overseeing the office to help them. So I decided I wasn't going to be the same person. I wasn't going to compete with them. I was either going to help them and again move forward and not have one foot on the banana peel because I just don't think you can do that. I think if you have integrity, it's black and white. It's never gray. And it was very gray to me to not be helping them with 100% of my effort instead of always relying on this other thing to bring in money. Has it been hard? Yes. What a transition it was. But I still believe in my mission and I believe in helping them because I just don't think I really don't think they have people to help them with a whole heart.
Would you recommend that people get into real estate? 'Cause they see all these real estate seminars run by shysters, pretty much most of them.
Right.
Is this would you still recommend people get in? I know it has to feed your school, or we wouldn't have any more agents to put in your school, but they're going to do it anyway. But what would you tell somebody thinking about getting their real estate license in today's atmosphere?
Well, first I say they were crazy because I think it is a very hard business. Because of the lack of real control. Like, for example, there's oodles of part-time agents. There's just not a lot of oversight. Pretty much, as long as you can pass the test, you can get in. So what does that do? It doesn't make for a better quality
Do they
industry.
still have the background checks?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. So I this is what I would say to somebody. If real estate, and if they talk to me first about, I want to get into real estate to make money, I'm going to stop them right there. I'm going to say money is a byproduct of doing something you love. If you are getting into it for the money, then you don't understand the seriousness of protecting the consumer. And DPOR, which is our state Department of Professional Licensing, basically DPOR, a real estate board, they don't have a sense of humor. So basically they hold you to 100% competence and knowledge when you get in, not until you learn it. So it's a very serious
So you could
thing.
make a mistake and get yourself in trouble.
Yes,
Just because you didn't know any better.
Right.
Ah.
And who's really with you all the time exercising oversight. Plus, I think most agents have some level of ADD or ADHD, which I think is common in sales. I think people in sales are attracted to that little bit less oversight, because I think I'm ADHD, we get brutalized by maybe not being able to pay as good of attention. You learn skills over time. I have, and I try to teach them to my coaching members, but that's kind of, it can be challenging. But what I would say to them is, first of all, I'd analyze whether or not they were crazy or not. And if I discovered that they were actually really dedicated to the idea, this is what I always ask them. Why? Why do you want to get in? And usually I'm fishing for something. And one thing I'm fishing for is to see if they have a story. Did they have a really bad experience and now they want to make it better for other people? Do they have a genuine concern for the consumer and making somebody else's experience better than theirs? Then I'm going to say you have good motivation. Maybe they just need to feed their family. And maybe they have to have a flexible schedule, whatever it is. But if they ever say to me, oh, I want to make a lot of money, people are making a lot of money. Well, there's a very, very high percentage of people that don't. And I can look at everybody's income. So, for example, in Fairfax County, which is one of the biggest counties here, if I pull up all of the agents and their income, maybe the top 10% on that list is making money and everybody else is not.
Yeah, 90%. Yeah.
So they really, but let me tell you who makes it. The people that make it really do treat it like a business. They really are dedicated. They're not just in there, well, I'll do it when I feel like it. Maybe I'll go out on a Saturday afternoon. Well, forget it. You've got to be rock hard dedicated to run a business, because you're running a business, in order to really make it successful. And you also, your why, your unique selling proposition basically has to be pretty good in order for you to actually be able to compete in a very, very highly competitive industry.
Yeah, and friends of mine are buying a house right now,
Mm-hmm.
and the agent, said, okay, I'm gonna meet you at noon, and then just totally blew them off, disappeared, didn't say anything, and a day and a half later said, hey, you still want to see that house?
Yeah, I'd say go pound
like
sand.
Yeah,
But see that it's not a good professional standard, is
Right.
it? So my next book, we have 3 published books now. My next book is going to be to consumers. How to find your real estate agent.
Right.
Because they're not educated themselves on what to demand.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to stop focusing on the money. They got to start focusing on the service, the quality of somebody. And they're out there. They're out there. I know them, at least in Virginia, a handful of people that I recommend all the time that are superior. But there's more that are not.
Now, are you able to get a commission when you recommend somebody?
I generally don't,
Okay.
because I feel it's a conflict. And I think that if I can wholeheartedly recommend somebody and feel really good about that, because I know that they're going to have a tremendous experience because I trust this person. I usually do a personality match too. I feel better about that. I just, I don't feel real comfortable with that.
Now, have you ever, I always laugh at this question, have you ever gotten screwed over on any of these deals?
Not really. I'm a really good communicator. And in my business of real estate, I was always the kind of person that would start a conversation off kind of like this if somebody was interviewing me, whether it be buying a house or selling a house. I would tell them that I had no idea if we were going to get along. I had no idea if they were going to think I was the scum of the earth or I was the most wonderful thing since sliced bread. But I always would tell them, during this transaction, if we are not a 10 on a 1 to 10 scale in this important relationship, then I just want you to know that you're going to be honest with me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to recommend at that point that I help you find an agent that serves your needs better. And what I found was they didn't blame me. I didn't end up having bad experiences. I wouldn't do dual agency. I knew that was nothing but
What
a
does that mean?
troubleshoot. Dual agency is basically where it's like being a divorce attorney representing the husband and the wife.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, Virginia still allows that. A lot of states don't. See, it never works out.
Right.
So right up front, so agents do it because they're greedy. So right up front, it is going to fail because somebody's going to feel slighted. Somebody's going to feel like they weren't represented, but they're not represented. Once you do a dual agency, you're basically a paper pusher for the transaction.
You
But see, the
represent
consumer,
yourself.
right. And see, that's not part of our duty ever. So I feel very badly about that. So if I ever got screwed, if you will, I think that it was in my early days when I didn't yet really understand the impact of a dual agency. Not that I never had a complaint filed, but because somebody had any question about who I was protecting,
Right.
even though I had explained it, to me, that's a failure.
Right.
Because that means somebody questioned whether or not they had a good experience. And that does not work for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst part?
Well, I think that the worst part is being alone. Not that I'm not good working alone, but it's what I mean by that is you really have to be your own sunshine. You have to be your own leader. You have days where you want to go in the closet and scream. I have lots of those. I had one of my coaches have a breakdown the other day, not literally, but they really had a tough time, and they basically used me as their sounding board. I thought somebody had just hit me in my stomach. I thought I was going to throw up because it jeopardized what we're doing moving forward. And he then apologized to me. But it's that kind of stuff where you can't overreact. You have to hold it together. No matter whether you want to cry or beat your head on the drywall, you have to be that pillar, that foundation that's always holding up what you believe in. And that to me is the hardest part. It's a lonely existence, being the Rock of Gibraltar. Okay, so that's how I see it. But as long as you feel strongly about what you're doing, and some days I go, do the agents even care? I've basically given up a 6-figure income. I basically given up, doing 80 transactions a year and being perfectly happy on my, lovely month-long trips or whatever it is that I was doing, because I believe in this. But that's really what keeps me going. So that's probably the worst part. The best part is I don't have to compromise my integrity ever. I don't have to be politically correct. I can be absolutely myself with not having to worry about not getting a paycheck. And that is by far the best thing for me. And anybody that knows me knows. I speak my mind. I'm not politically correct. One day maybe somebody will shoot me. I don't know. But I feel this industry needs a lot of work.
Well, I'll tell you what, I learned something right there that from you, that you beat your head on drywall, where I've been beating it on brick walls.
Oh, it's much less painful being on drywall. Much less painful.
Now, so if I know we talked about that somebody is the real estate agent already and could learn from you and go to your school, I guess. But what if somebody was thinking about listening to this, thinking about getting into being an agent in another state? Do you do any coaching for people just to help them out before they get into it?
Most prospective agents truly are not going to pay for that. They're just going to do what they want to do anyway. I've had people ask me lots of questions about that, and I call it the honeymoon phase. They haven't drank the reality Kool-Aid yet. So, in fact, I won't even coach people until they're out of that honeymoon phase. So, because they're just not realistic about anything, and you just can't move forward. But so I have parameters for that. But once they do, it doesn't matter where somebody is in the country. I can basically take, with our private coaching, I can take pretty much any agent that's made at least $50,000 a year. Typically, that's usually my minimum, and I can literally double their income usually in 6 months.
Wow, that's really awesome.
I mean, I really know how to do this. And then our group coaching is new. I don't know how that's going to work out as far as accountability goes. In fact, I did the craziest thing. I had all these people sign up that we launch it on June 1st. And I made all of them meet with me individually so that I could give them a private coaching session initially so that they
Yeah.
would do better.
Well,
Because I
that
know
makes
how
sense
hard
because a
it
lot of
is.
people just do group coaching because they're lazy and
Well,
they don't care if anybody gets anything out of it. So
Well, I'm a
that's,
tough
yeah,
coach. I'm very accountable, but I know, see, a lot of them can't afford private coaching. So I did the group coaching so that people would have
right.
some kind of a foundation of training that made sense for them. Because I use all my own systems that I created over the years because I could never find anything that worked through any coach that was in real estate. I think real estate coaches are terrible.
That's what you are, right? So,
Yeah, but I call myself a business development
oh,
coach.
there we go.
Yeah, because I can literally coach almost anybody in business and do just as well because it's just all kind of the same thing. Real estate, I just happen to specialize in.
All right. So how would they either get into your school or get a hold of you?
Well, the best way to get a hold of me is probably go to my business building site, which is cindybishoptraining.com.
Mhm.
At the bottom of every page, there's a contact form. That's one way. The other way is to just pick up the phone and call me. I still answer my own calls.
You're kidding, like me, huh?
Right. You know why? What's the most important part of our job?
The relationship, right?
That's right. Answering the phone.
Yeah, answering the
If I don't
phone.
answer the phone, it means I'm on the phone or I'm talking to you, Tom, and they can leave a message, but they're going to get a call back. People are always shocked about that. Is this Cindy?
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
it
Yeah.
is. Really? What is more important than talking to these people? Nothing. Nothing that I do. I can just about farm out everything except talking to them and then doing business building events that I need to teach them because I have such a unique system. So it's, because nobody's ever duplicated what I've done because they don't know about it. I've kept it very quiet. So, but they can get a hold of me also on the phone, which is 540-786-1432. That's my office phone. And then as I mentioned before, it's easy just to go to cindybishoptraining.com. That's my nationwide business building site. And they go down to the bottom of any page and just fill out the form and send it to me.
Great. Yeah, and we'll have all that in the show notes. So we got to take a brief break for our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to ask Cindy what's a typical day look like for her and how she stays motivated. We'll be right back.
Today, almost 2 billion of you will go online, retrieving over 100 billion searches for information, goods, and services, and 6 million of you will view a page on the internet before this commercial is over. The world has changed, and so has the way we do business. At the Internet Marketing Training Center, you can study online at your pace to fit your schedule, and you can graduate with the skills and knowledge to compete in the global marketplace or start your own home-based business. Call us today or go online at imtcva.org because it's about time. Yours.
Okay, we're back with Cindy Bishop. She is a fantastic real estate coach and real estate school founder. And Cindy, what's a typical day look like for you? What time do you get up? What do you eat? What do you exercise? What do you do all day?
Okay, this is what I do. First of all, I'm very consistent. So if anybody wants to run a business, they need to treat it like a business. If they don't have some kind of set schedule that works for them, they're running a hobby.
Yep.
So I just want to say that because that's one of the things I coach on. You've got to be working in your business. Okay. A lot of people don't have the discipline. So I get up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm not much of a 6 o'clock or 5:30 person that wakes up. So 7:30 in the morning, give or take. And I work in my office. If I'm going out, then of course my day changes. But my typical in-office day, and I have certain days that I do certain things. So like Monday's an admin day. Tuesday I do coaching calls. There's different things on different days. So I usually start with my email because there's always all kinds of surprises on email.
Yeah.
So I deal with that. And agents are inherently last minute on everything. So, oh my God, I need to get my licensing credit by the end of the month. Well, I'm not gonna throw classes into the system, but I can tell them what I have that they can go to. And they always try to go to our stuff first. The people that are loyal to us, they really are loyal. And I really appreciate that. They always try to, because our education is so much better. Mm-hmm. I do basically then I every day, the first thing I do is I look to see what classes during the week, what kind of registration numbers they have. So I might run more ads. I might get my event manager. So I do all that licensing, training, and business building events that are for that week and the week after. I keep a watchful eye on how the numbers are looking. During the day, I usually have pre-scheduled appointments for coaching, and I generally don't do more than one of those a day because I put a lot of myself into it, so I get kind of tired, and so do they. So we do that, and sometimes I just have people that have questions, so I always leave time to help my coaching members with whatever issues. I don't want them to wait until next month.
Right.
Because they have a problem now, and the problem with that is they're not going to be doing anything between now and then if I don't address it. I do new training curriculum. One thing bad about continuing education is that we have to get the same classes or even new classes. They only are good for 3 years. Mm-hmm. So we update our curriculum for every single solitary training, but officially we have to get it reapproved with a new approval number at the state level every 3 years. So that takes a lot of time. And I don't have anybody else do that because nobody knows the material like I do.
Right.
Because I've been in the business so long. We're always doing new training, so I do that. So all that stuff is in the morning, generally. I'm getting new whatever done. Now after lunch, I'm really focused more on people are in now. They're not early birds, these real estate people mostly. So I do prospective training requests. We get a lot of emails for training requests, private trainings. And I set up the regular hosting location event schedule generally in the afternoon. I follow up on instructors updating their curriculum for state submission, as well as getting new instructors submitted. And then I go back to doing a lot of my website product development and updates. My blog posts, I do a lot of that in the afternoon. And then I return all calls, even if I'm leaving a message by the end of the day.
That's like a week's worth of work in one day.
Listen, I get more done. Even though I'm ADHD, I've taught myself such amazing skills over the years and I teach these to my coaching members as well, that I can get most off by 5, and I literally take time off. Why do I do that? Because if you don't, you're not fresh. Do I get on the computer sometimes at night because I didn't get that next blog in during the day? I got sidetracked. If I have something on my list to get done, if I have to go back and sit at my computer at 9 p.m. to get it done, I do it.
Wow. You're a dynamo. That's all I can tell you. So I was going to ask you how you stay motivated, but it's like, oh my God, you don't have time to be
thinking about it. Well, paying bills is a priority, eating, having a house over your head. But you know what really motivates me?
What's that?
Really motivates me is the promise of getting more quality reviews. If you look at Google, we have a lot of really good, solid reviews on there from people that really mean it. And, agents can be a little ding-a-lingy last minute. I've got several people that signed up for a class this morning, like 5 seconds before the class started. It's just the way they are. But, it is important to me. Maybe it's ego. I don't know. But it's important to me that I'm getting both negative and positive feedback. We don't get negative feedback as far as the curriculum goes, but sometimes you'll have somebody that dominates a class and the instructor didn't maybe handle it as well as they should have. So I have to help them learn how to handle that better, because they may be great on content. They may be the best in their field, which is who I have, but they may not be able to handle some obnoxious person. And then the event manager needs to know they have to step in. Okay, that's what so I have to help them a lot with this kind of stuff. Luckily, most of the time it's never an issue because I've done a pretty good job of helping them with that over the years. And most of my people I've had for years. Nobody really leaves us unless I ask them to leave. So they are. I'm very fortunate in that way. We keep really, really, really good people. I think what keeps me motivated too is the agents. Not everybody. But a lot of them, especially our followers, they know I care.
Right.
Isn't that interesting that most people don't know that you care because you don't care? You're just interested in assembly line money and that's it. But I really do care. And I really do care that they're getting, and I think that's what keeps me motivated. I know I'm the only school that I know of in Virginia for continuing ed that does what I do the way I do it. I know that. And that's why so it motivates me to keep getting better and keep doing better for them. Because if I'm not here, what else is going to happen for them? They're going to go back to getting terrible education. They now call me. I took this class at so-and-so place. It was terrible. I'm never going any place but your classes. On the other hand, school models are not profitable. You really better have passion for it. You better. And luckily we do business building, but it's just overall it's a difficult thing. So you better be motivated and you better have passion, because like any educational facility, it's never going to be what real estate income was. But I know that. But I still love it tremendously because I really feel like I'm helping people.
Well, there you go. Those are great parting thoughts for all we call them screwballs out there. Well, thanks so much, Cindy, for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. It's been very inspiring, the passion that you have for your work and the integrity you bring to it in a field that's really not known for, to tell you the truth. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah. So thanks so much.
All right.
Okay, we'll catch you next time. And
take care.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. So make sure you check out all the show notes. And if you have any interest in this, or you're an agent in Virginia or outside of Virginia, if you want some business building on somebody that's been there, done that, check out Cindy's offerings and her contact information. You can even call her. How about that? Isn't that crazy? So check that out. Also check out imtcva.org. And if you want a lifestyle business in as little as 6 months that's legitimate, my school is the bomb. It's kind of like Cindy's. It's the bomb, but you can be anywhere in the world and take this as distance learning. So check it out. And let's see what's going on here. The next episode, I don't know what the next episode is. I'll have to surprise you with it. How about that? So we'll catch y'all on the flip flop. See you later.